Hi guys, I'm Elias, and we're here in a new anime called Grisaia Phantom Trigger. I know you'll like it already with an anime that has many things that you like girls and weapons. Remember that, if you don't like it and subscribe to my channel, I'm going to steal your mothers, you know. The episode begins with Shiori getting up in the morning talking about the things she doesn't like about her personality, like feeling uncomfortable when she makes eye contact with someone and talks about how she has a normal job as a teacher, but they are girls who have hurt people and have blood on their hands, and says that she is different from her students, but that it is likely that one day she will do that to someone. Then we see Toka and Rina running, and she tells her that it is strange to see her run so early that surely she wants to be an example for Gumi. But she appears competing with Maki. Competing later in Mihama, Shiori sees Aoi training her children with bamboo, and he asks her, what is the most powerful weapon she knows? And she says bravery, because someone that she doesn't give up is too strong. And he agrees and teaches the boys to do techniques with bamboo. Later, Shiori is with the Sengoku director, and they talk about a girl who belongs to the director's clan, who is very advanced for her age and is in her class, because the Sengoku class is very arrogant, and that in Class A, she has everything she needs. And we see her name is Taiga Sengoku, and we see how she meets Aoi, and that he took care of her. But then we see how he puts Sakurako in charge, and that one must obey one's superiors, and even sacrifice one's life for them. And he puts Shiori with the others. Then he talks to Sakurako about taking care of Taiga, and doubts that if she can take care of her, and says that he believes that one has something that the other is missing, and says of the times that she has stopped terrorists, but she has done more damage. So you just have to observe her, and she will mature on her own. And the zone asks if she is willing to do more damage than she has done. And she says that she will do her best to take care of her later in the Mihama courtyard. We see how the children are opening surprise boxes, and when they open them, they place the objects to one side, and it is a test, since one of the objects has a bomb, and it explodes and gives them advice not to be carried away sometimes by common sense, to objectively accept what happens around them. Then, when they are eating, and they said how useful Chris is when making the food and helping the others. Later we see the distance test, in which Toka and Megumi hit the target without their sights, and Taiga is surprised by the talent the girls have, and says that she trains without the sights, so that they do not trust in the missions, and give their all. Then with Murasaki, we see how she trains the boys to throw shuriken, and how Taiga is certain, and that trying to throw the shuriken over and over again made her knowledge increase. Then we see a dark flashback, in which a man asks Taiga what her wish is to mature that society. That is what it has always asked for, and she says that she wants to reach out and lead things that her mother could not do, and she wakes up, and it turns out that she was dreaming. There, we see Kujirase, who asks her if she had a nightmare, and that she does not worry that she has her, and she lies down next to Taiga and gives her a hug while telling her that she is just a girl. And Taiga in her mind says that not even her mother hugged her so, and that she will mature when she realizes how important in this world is. Then the next day, we see Rina practicing target shooting while Taiga sees and suggests that she also practice afterwards to look for a weapon for her to practice. She realizes that her hand is a little small, and they look for a somewhat small weapon for her. Then she uses it and misses some bullets, and the girls tell her that they should train their body. And the next day, we see how Kujirase encourages Taiga while she runs, and tells her that if she is tired to stop, but she does not want to be treated differently from the others, and she plans to go around in circles. Then Aoi arrives to tell her that she is competitive for getting together with her, that she should congratulate her for her work, that if she does something wrong to take her to her office, and she also tells Kujirase not to overexert herself after her training. We see how she got a small wound while they carry her piggyback, and she falls asleep while Chris says that she tries hard, while she sees reality, but it is not known how much longer you can go. Continue with her. Then she with Aoi talks with Taiga and about her virtues. Then he receives a call, and it turns out that there was an explosion, and Kujirase worries about the girl. We see a flashback of Kujirasi with his mother talking about cooking dishes, and we see that they move to her place where her father is, who is a successful businessman who travels to Japan once a month to see her. Although he was a good father, Kujirasi never liked him. And suddenly, an explosion occurs, and we see the character being in the sea, and his mother grabs his hand, but lets her go. We see how she is in the present. She says that that is the reason why she is an expert in explosives then in the office of the director Sengoku Aoi. The information of what happened with the explosion that occurred at a university, and Sengoku's secretary says that those responsible for the attack is a group called the Fatal Answer, and that they are looking for a virus that was created by a painter with his blood and was preserved, but that they took it to a secret laboratory to analyze it. And that is why of the attack on that university. But Kujirasi worries about Taiga, who was there, but the secretary says that her name is not on the list. But if the terrorists know about her, they took her hostage. We are also told of that the group entered but could not leave, and stayed in the facilities taking hostages and asking to be given the virus. And Natsuki Sengoku, the father of Taiga, enters. She talks to the director, who is from the same clan, and tells her not to get involved. She also says that if the attackers get desperate, they will release all the gas, making the situation worse. And if that happens, it will be an international problem, and that she has a plan to enter the university where the attackers are and stop them with the excavators and rougher methods. But the director disagrees, since the believers can get hurt, and says that it is the decision of the Sengoku family in the name of sires, together with the UN. And the secretary tells the girls the Sengoku family's plan, and obviously the girls disagree since Taiga is there. Although Gumi and Maki almost fight because of that, Aoi stops them, and then Shiori wants to rescue her, but Toka tells her that they can't do anything since their superiors are in charge of that. Besides, she has no training. She tells her we realize that Kujirasi is not there, and most likely he went to the university to rescue her, and Aoi says that if her superiors needed them, she will contact them. Then we see Taiga with the hostages trying to help them with their wounds. We see how the attackers are giving fear to the hostages. Then we see Chris talking to someone, telling him that she is going to rescue Taiga and sends her the coordinates where she is, and she is going to help her by hacking the university systems. Then the director Sengoku and her secretary talk about what they are going to do about the situation. Then the secretary, walking through the halls, sees how the girls are fighting with Shiori, since she is not a combatant. Like the others, she is only a teacher. And the secretary tells her that they are going to attack the university by air with bombs, and Shiori asks her what will happen to the girls, but she tells her that they can't do nothing. And the girls tell her that they are going to make a rescue plan however she wants, although the secretary does not agree very much, since if they fail, they will lose their lives, and the director will expel her from her position. Then we see in the director's office she talks about how the rescue plan is, although the Sengoku clan does not want it, and she tells Aoi to carry out the plan, and Natsuki cannot believe it. And although he does not agree with the idea, he is Taiga's father, and will not prevent the girls from leaving. And we see how they prepare themselves, taking weapons and ammunition in Izumi's warehouse. But the girls talk about the risk they are going to take, and Toka asks Izumi for Chris's gun and says that she took it, and the girls, proud of the work and the chemistry they have between them, go to the mission on motorcycles, and we return with Chris, and we see how the girls make a plan to rescue Taiga. But the impediment is that there are 50 attackers. Then we are with Taiga in the room with the hostages, and the terrorists decide to finish them off one. And it turns out that they choose her. And when one of them decides to shoot, Chris explodes his explosive and decides to enter early, and we see how she finishes off the villains, but she ends up a little injured, bring along with the hostages. They decide to help each other, but the villains come back, and Taiga tells the hostages to go out, that she will take care of Chris. And while Taiga prepares to attack the villains, she tells her that now it is her turn to take care of her. But Taiga is very scared. But for the pride of the Sengoku family, he is going to shoot one of the villains, and he did it, but he runs out of ammunition and more men come.